concrete blocks delivery to the Fallen Powerline. Hello there everybody, and welcome to another afternoon of slow snow running here at Opafed Gaming. I am the Opafed. We are in our Avenhorn A15, which we're still testing against the Kenworth 963. Will be for a little while. We'll do some more comparison today. And we are delivering 2 pallets of concrete blocks to the Fallen Powerline at the Northern Aegis Installation. Now we're starting off here at the warehouse just behind the garage in Urska River. So we got a little drive ahead of us. Now we've gone the northern route to the right with metal beams, but now we're going to go to the southern route. It's got a few ice roads on it, and I want to see how the Avenhorn is going to do. So we're going to be off on our way here fairly quickly, and we're going to see the pros and cons, which is better, which is worse, between the Avenhorn A15 and the Kenworth 963. 2 of my favorite trucks in the game. They both got some pros and they both got some cons, but when you're driving in Amour, as I've mentioned before on many of my videos, any road that's not covered in snow, like the one we're driving on, you can consider an ice road. Now, of course, we got the roads on the ice itself, but these are slippery, icy roads that go up and down that are not flat. So you got to take special care. You got to have the right truck for the right job. You know, when you go out and open a can of paint, you can use a butter knife, but you should use the proper tool. Same here in SnowRunner. If you're going to be out on the icy road, use a truck that has chains, especially if you're only delivering 2 sets of concrete blocks. Why would you take a truck that has no chains and has a 3-slot cargo flat deck? You wouldn't do that. So the right vehicle for the right job, and for this particular job, I would say the Avenhorn A15 suits it best. But we're going to see, because that's just my pick at the beginning here, and then we're going to see how it performs along the way. Now this part here is always a little slippery trying to get around those rocks, but we don't seem to have a lot of trouble with the Avenhorn. He seems to chug right on through, and a little bit of snow never bothered him. When it gets a little deeper, he has a little bit of trouble. That I've noticed. You know, so you do have to be a little careful in the deep snow. But like along here, and the Avenhorn and the Kenworth both got lots of power. They power through this, not a problem. Now, as we're coming up here and we come into the end of these here cement pads, you can see there's quite a bit of uncovered road, and that's all icy road. Now when you're driving on an icy road and you don't have chains, best thing to do is drive a little bit on the side like I'm doing right now. That way you can keep the tires on the one side in the snow, and then that way you get a little bit of traction from that side. But trying to get over to the other side is impossible, because you would never be able to climb up the other side like this unless you had chains on. With the Avenhorn you can do it because you got chains and he doesn't slide anywhere. So kudos for the Avenhorn. We're going to have to give it a 1 thumbs up for the Avenhorn over the Kenworth. And this is a pretty rough road, but it's nice when you're on an icy road like this and you can pretty well pick the route you want to go and take it, and you know that your truck is going to go there. Now another thing about this truck, it's got a 400-liter tank, and it's got another, I believe, 160 liters on the bumper, auxiliary fuel. And if I had a 5th wheel on here, I could put a maintenance module on the back that had another 300 liters of fuel. So you could carry a lot of fuel and a lot of cargo if you want to pull a 5th wheel. Now, I try to stay away from pulling trailers or flat decks. I don't mind it. It's just that I have a big fear of having to back them up. I can't do it, so I have a little trouble doing that. So I just prefer to use a 3-slot cargo deck like the Kenworth, or the 2-slot like that. Anyhow, that's just personal preference. Now, as we're coming up here, we're chugging quite along, right along. Nothing seems to be stopping this Avenhorn, and I think for ice road, he's definitely a plus. He's much better than the Kenworth, that's for sure. So we're going to have to go all the way up to the loading site here and then go through it and then go back down on the other side. We still got a little bit of ice roads left to go. So we got a little bit more of a test for him to see how he does. Now I like to drive him in the high end of the low range, high range of the low gear, I guess you can call it. That way you can't quite go as fast, and when you're in automatic he tends to shift up and down a lot, so keeping him in the high range of the low gear seems to be just right for me. He goes at a really nice speed. I can't go any faster, which is great, so I can't let it run away on me, which is a very good thing for me, as I sometimes do. So it holds the Opafet back. Now we still got a couple of Kenworths sitting here from previous jobs, so if we did need fuel, we could get some from them. Now we got 339 liters and we really don't need any yet. Plus, a little ways down the road, I've got the Tuz sitting in a particular spot where it's a little bit difficult to see where you have to go, and he just kind of points the way with the nose of the vehicle, and I think we might just fuel up from him. You know, well, depending on how much fuel we got left. Because once we get to the Northern Aegis installation, we still got a little ways to go. So, anyhow, as we go up this here part of the ice road, also, I mean, you can see that there's no slipping, no sliding, no nothing. And the Kenworth I had to drive on the side of the road. You couldn't go up the middle of the road like that. You wouldn't do it. So could you imagine if you were pulling a trailer with cargo in it? It'd be even more difficult. So the Avenhorn is definitely a plus truck to have in your fleet in a moor. Now maybe in Mississippi, not so much, but in a moor, he definitely shines big time. So as we're coming around the corner here, we got a couple of dips and holes, and we got some debris on the road, and there again, you know, the smaller boulders or the smaller rocks, they really don't bother the Avenhorn at all. Even the bigger ones, if there's too many of them, just kind of aim for the middle of them and try to go over top of them, and he seems to do okay. As we're coming up around here, and when we get over the crest of this here little bump, when going downhill, we got a little bit of what I'd like to call a ski hill, and you'll understand once you see it. Here we're just going to plow through the rocks. I mean, and there again, when you go through the rocks like that, you don't have to go hard. You can just run up to them and drive over top of them, which is probably better. So as we're coming around, here's where the top of that ski hill is that I was mentioning. And normally if I was driving any other vehicle, which includes the Kenworth, I would put it in low gear to go down this hill, because it's so steep and there's so many dips and holes that in automatic you would just be going too fast, and you've got to be able to, you don't want to continuously brake all the time, so you put it in a lower gear and you have the truck hold itself back. So we're going to try and drive the ridge on the right hand side for as long as we can, passing a lot of those holes, those dips on the left. And by doing that, you've got to make sure you don't go too far to the right, because you don't want to slip into the ravine or the little valley on the right hand side, because boy, you'd have a tough time getting back out of there. So sooner or later you're going to have to move over a little bit, and that's where it gets a little tricky. As you can see, the truck is kind of lurching from side to side, which, whoa, easy there, partner. We almost twisted too far. So there again, speed is your enemy. Like I've said many times, the slower you go, the better off you are when you do get yourself in a bind, because you usually don't get yourself in that bad of a bind. You can catch it all the time. Now when we come over here, on the left hand side, I kind of overshoot it a little bit, so I have to move back. Not go a little bit too far. Right there, okay, back her up. Now if you stay beside the rocks on the left hand side, and if you aim for those two pine trees, the two pine trees that are right in front of you now, and stay beside the rock, they will allow you to slide down over top of the rocks. I've done it in the Kenworth, I've done it in the Tuz, and I've done it in the Tega, so I can't see it being any different for the Avenhorn. They'll let you slide down over top of the rock here, and you just take it easy, just like that. And then you curl around the big boulder and those rocks down at the bottom. And you're at ice level. Easy peasy for the Avenhorn. And as we come around the corner and we look in the distance, well, we can't see him quite yet. We don't have a line of sight on him yet. But in a minute here, oh, there he is. You can see him in the distance, a little faint red blotch. That is the Tuz. Our scout, our trusty scout slash mobile fuel station slash rescue vehicle. That is probably the best scout in the game, in my opinion. But I'm sure that a lot of people would agree with me. Anyhow, as we come through here, you've got to be careful of the big shards of ice on the right-hand side there that stick up. They can damage your vehicle. It doesn't happen very often, but it can happen, as it might here. Now, and you've got to be careful too that you don't try to drive on them, because they'll just knock you off into the water. Now here I got just a little bit too close to it, and I guess I got a little damage from it. So, well, we won't worry too much about that. I mean, what can you do, right? As long as we didn't go into the water, then everything's still pretty cool. So now when we get up to the Tuz, we got to get right up beside him and then turn to the left, and there's a little crack in the rocks where it's a little difficult to get through, but it's a lot easier than the way I used to go when I used to turn off before these rocks and I went through the snow. And it was a lot deeper there, and the snow, and it was a lot tougher to get through. So this is definitely the easier way. So we're gonna just quickly fuel ourselves up, just in case. You never know. And we're gonna try and climb up here best we can. And it seems to, well, yeah, it'll be all right. It'll be okay. Seems to work a lot easier than going through the snow, but I'll tell you, that was a real slog, and this way he barely even slows down. That's absolutely amazing. So now we're up here, and we have to go up the hill, and we're almost at the tunnel. Almost at the tunnel. I see the sun is going down on us, and our day is almost done here. We're gonna have to have a time change as we're going through the tunnel, I believe. I love the looks of this game, and I love all the different angles, the different areas, and then the different shading of light when it turns dark. I just don't really care for driving in the dark, because I like it to be daytime so I could see the game, because I enjoy it so much. Now this here area, I didn't have any trouble with the Kenworth or the Tuz, but the Avenhorn for some reason can't get through it. And this is the only problem. Well, I had one deep snow area problem, but not really much to speak of. And then this one here. Now, luckily enough, there's enough trees around that you can hook your winch onto and you can pull yourself out of it. So it's not like you're stuck and you need a rescue vehicle. It's not that. It's a little annoying. You know, the other vehicles go through it lickety-split, and you have to winch yourself through it. That just didn't make any sense. The truck is so much better, or so good in many ways, and that little piece stops it. But that's okay. Not a big deal. We got through it, and as we're climbing up the hill, same thing like always. We've been up this hill a few times, and there's a mud hole at the end in the middle of it, so we climb up the side, just beside the hole where the hole is going to be. You can see it over there. There's some rocks here too. I've gone through that hole before, and let me tell you, if you get over into that, you're going to be stuck for a little bit. It's going to be hard to pull yourself out. It took me a little while. So I do it this way. And as we come around the corner, you'll see the tunnel. Just go right in there. and we'll be heading off to Northern Aegis Installation, where we will pick up the rest of the journey and hopefully finish this delivery without any problems. And we got ourselves some daylight as we woke up, and now we can be on our way again. We just got a little distance to go, a couple of little problems, nothing too big, nothing too elaborate, and we can deliver these concrete blocks at the Fallen Powerline just up the road. Now this here spot, it just never ceases to amaze me. Every time I go through here, something different happens. I try to climb the rocks a little bit on the right hand side, because keeps your truck a little bit more level, and one time I got high centered on there, and most of the times nothing happens and I go through, and now this time, whoa, the rear end gets slid over. It's always a different ball game going over those rocks. You never know what to expect, but that's okay, that's fun. I enjoy that. So once again, we're still on an ice road, and when we get over top of this little hill, another one of those tight little rocky area where you got to go through. Absolutely amazing, never ceases to amaze me. With this one, you just got to kind of put your nose in there and then crank your wheel, and then usually it just kind of pushes your rear end to the left, and then you can go through. Now it just it won't do it, and I just like, okay, give it another chance, let's try it again. Nothing. Okay, well, maybe we should back it up and try and do it. Okay, now try it again. And he just doesn't seem to, and then he finally goes and he still climbs over top of the rock. Oh my Lord. What is going on? Anyhow, then we take this little shortcut, because you don't want to go straight here, because if you go straight, you end up in an intersection that's full of water and all sorts of garbage in it, and you really get stuck in there for a long time. It's tough to get out of there. So you go this way, and if you go slow, I say if you go slow, not that fast, but slower, then you get no damage. Because I've gone through here before and never had any damage. So it just depends on how fast you go through it. Just take her easy. There again, speed kills. You know, take it slow and you could survive most of those kinds of problems. But there again, it wasn't a lot of damage, and I do have repair points on the bumper, so I could repair it, but it's really not affecting the motor. So I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to keep driving, and this still is an ice road, and as you can tell, we've been driving mostly in the middle of the road, and no slipping, no sliding, and we've been doing okay. It's been really well. It's really, he's very, how should I put it now? He's got a lot of traction, very steady on the road, regardless of surface. And when you're driving in this game, that makes a huge difference. That, and I like trucks that have a little bit of a low center of gravity, still have lots of clearance, big tires, and a nice wide footprint. When they have a wide footprint, it's a little bit harder to flip them over. So, and a few trucks that fit that bill are the Avenhorn and the Kenworth 963, and then of course more trucks like the Plaid 450, I think. I don't have that one, by the way, so maybe one down the road sometime when I get that one, I'll put it up on one of the videos. In the meantime, we're in the Avenhorn, and he is doing fantastic. Really having a good time with him. He's easy to drive, lots of power, and everything that this particular trip of the contract, we have contact. everything that this trip has thrown at it, the Avenhorn has been able to handle without blinking. I mean, when it's dependent upon certain conditions, the Avenhorn definitely is king. I think it's a better truck than the Kenworth. But if there was no ice and snow, then we'd be up to a different debate again. So you're gonna have to get both of them and try them out for yourself. But I think what you're gonna end up with is not knowing which one you're gonna like better, the same way I am. It's a tough decision because which one do you use, right? So I just let the job dictate the truck that I'm gonna use. You know, if I had to move four pallets of concrete blocks and the trip was this easy, I would have taken the Kenworth because I could put one of the pallets on top. Because with the Kenworth, with 3-slot flatbed, you get a crane. But if you only have 2 pallets of concrete blocks to move, take the Avenhorn. Right? So now we got a little bit of a swampy area to go through, and there again, not much of a problem, but then this wouldn't be much of a problem for most trucks. So not really a test for how tough the truck is, but nevertheless, we got to go through it. Then once we're through it, at the just up ahead a little ways, we're going to do a little bit of 4-wheeling. Now that's always interesting because not every truck is good in the snow, especially once it starts to get a little bit deeper. So just hold on to your horses for that. It's going to be a tough climb, and we're going to see if the Avenhorn is going to be ready for it, or if he's going to need some help. Because you never know. We might have to send a Tuz out after him to help him out of the ditch, or if he gets stuck. You don't know, but you will in a few minutes as we are getting close to go 4-wheeling. I tell you, this delivery has been a real joy. I've really enjoyed it. And it's getting us a little bit closer to the liftoff delivery of the assembled rocket in Cosmodrome. There's a bunch of jobs you got to do first before you can do that one. But we're getting closer. And when we get that one, we will put that one up and share it with you, as it's going to be just I hope, I don't know. I hope it's going to be just an awesome video with awesome scenery. So here we're going 4-wheeling as we're climbing up the hill. We start our long climb at the bottom. And the Avenhorn seems to just chew it up like it was nothing. It's almost, you could almost call the Avenhorn the snow climber. I think that's what, he's a good snow climber. I mean, look at the way he just climbs up this one. Absolutely awesome. I love it. Slows down a little bit, but then you would too if you were going up this hill with 2 loads of blocks on your back, I tell you. And then when we get up here, he speeds up again. He's got another steep section that he's got to go up. Look at that. Oh, I hope he can make that one. Maybe, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll take a little bit of a run at it. And it doesn't look like he's going to stop. I think he's going to get right up to the delivery. But this was an absolutely awesome delivery. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you liked watching the video. If you did, give us a thumbs up. Anyhow, hope to see you back for the liftoff or any of the other snow running videos. They're always exciting. And I hope to see you back again. In the meantime, you've been driving through the snow in an Avenhorn A15 with me, the Opafed.